Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. I have one book about Delhi which I will talk about. By now, I think some of you would know that I love Delhi, reading about Delhi's history and different aspects of the city. So, this book I'm going to be talking about today is Delhi in Thy Name by Adrija Roychowdhury. So, this is a book, Delhi, Thy Name by Adrija Roychowdhury. She works with Indian Express and she reports on Delhi. And this book came out, I think, only 1.5 years back. So, what makes this book unique is the fact that it looks at Delhi through uh, the names of different localities and how these names came into being and what it tells us about Delhi's history. So this book covers pretty much from like 1947 onwards till now. Um, Let me just take some names. Chandni Chowk, Connaught Place, obviously everyone knows about them. Then Saket, Shaheen Bagh, CR Park. So each locality of Delhi, the writer has picked up, and she has gone into detail of how these localities got their name and what it tells us about the city of Delhi and its history. So let me start by talking about CR Park. So people who live in South Delhi, they know that CR Park is an enclave where mostly uh, Bengalis live. So it has got a very nice backstory. So now let's go back to the 1950s. India has become independent. Partition happened, and in Delhi, for some reason, the refugees who were coming from West Punjab on the Pakistan side, um, they got a lot of compensation and a lot of sympathy, but there was a significant number of people on the east side which uh, migrated or moved from East Pakistan, which later became Bangladesh, to India. So the story of the CR Park enclave begins in the 50s, where a bunch of people, mostly from erstwhile East Pakistan, which is now Bangladesh, they were living and working in Delhi, and they petitioned government that government needs to do something for us. So from mid 50s onwards, this thing was going on. And there was an association that was formed, which was called East Pakistan Displaced People Association, EPD, okay, East Pakistan Displaced People, EPDP. Yeah. so uh, initially, these people petitioned government, and by the 1960s, government had identified area in South Delhi, the present day location of Sia Park, and they started allocating plots to people from erstwhile East Pakistan. So mostly these were Bengalis, and then it was informally called EPDP colony. But then by 1970, they had to find a name. So uh, the government department at that time involved the residents and they had a discussion. And it's very interesting. The name of Sia Park was almost finalized. It was called Purvanchal, uh, which basically means mountains in the east. And it was all set. But then what happened was that there was disturbance in Assam, and there was a movement which had Purvanchal name mentioned in it. So it became a politically loaded term. So someone suggested that for this new enclave, let's have a name which is not politically overloaded. So they went searching for another name. They wanted to look at a Bengali nationalist. So there are many from Bengal, who are well known. But already there were a lot of localities named after them in Delhi. Netaji Nagar is one. Tagore was also used. So they thought that let's look at someone who deserves a locality, whose contribution is immense, and that is how they zeroed in on Chitranjan Das, the revolutionary who was very active in the early part of 20th century, and who passed away in 1924. And his contribution to the national movement was immense. So that's how Sia Park got its name. So now let's move to Pomposh, which is nearby. Pomposh got the name because it was meant as an enclave for people from Kashmir, and Pomposh means lotus. It has tremendous significance in Kashmiri culture, especially in the culture of Kashmiri Pandits. And Kashmir was disturbed even in the 50s, so a lot of people were trickling in from Kashmir, moving to Delhi. So yeah, so Pomposh is now fairly big, fairly prominent locality. So it got its name from the lotus Pomposh. It is called in Kashmiri language. Then Shine Bagh actually is it became prominent because of the protest against CAA. Shine Bagh is a very new locality actually. It came into being in the late 80s, and it has got very interesting origin story. I'll tell you very quickly. So this young boy from Rampur village had come to Delhi to study at Jamia in the late 70s, early 80s. Studied Arabic at Jamia, finished his studies around 1984-85. Looking for a place to stay, he chose a place called Abul Fazal Enclave, which is next to Shine Bagh. At that time, Shine Bagh did not exist. So he took a accommodation there. Then he thought that, okay, I should probably create a place for people like me, because he was finding it very difficult to get accommodation in Delhi. And that's a sad reality. If you're a Muslim, life in Delhi can be tough. So he got in touch with one person from Jasola village, and he put together some money, and he bought land which is now present day Shine Bagh. So this gentleman's name is Ansarullah. Sharik Ansarullah, and he is still living in Shine Bagh. So he bought this land, which was essentially forested land, infested by insects and snakes and all that. So he thought that he'll cut plots and sell it to people, mostly Muslims, though he wanted anyone to come and buy land. So then the question of naming the locality came up. Initially, he thought he'll name it after himself, but then he is Sharik Ansarullah is a big admirer of Allama Iqbal, the poet and philosopher. And in the philosophy of Iqbal, there is a constant reference to Shaheen, the majestic eagle. So there are so much of poems around Shaheen. So he thought, what better way than to name the locality Shaheen Bagh in memory of Allama Iqbal. So that is how Shaheen Bagh came to be named. And I can go on talking, but okay, this book is fairly extensive, detailed. Adrija Roychowdhury has done a lot of research. She has gone and met people. She met everybody involved in the naming of that locality, and I loved it. I enjoyed it. Very readable, and it will next time when you're going out in Delhi, you cross a locality, it will make you look at it differently. So I'll conclude by just giving you a story of Saket. Now, Saket, people go, they love going to the malls there. By the way, the malls came up only in 2007. That's a very recent phenomenon. But Saket as a neighborhood was established sometime in 1976-77. And at that time, Saket was just wilderness. It was not even named Saket. There were two villages, Hauz Rani and Khirki. These two villages exist even today. And these villagers had their fields where the present day Saket is located. So these were flowing fields where they grew wheat, pulses, and mustard and all that. And the government acquired the land, DD acquired the land. And then they thought that we'll come up with a housing scheme for middle class Delhiites. So they launched the scheme in 1977. And at that time, it was called Malviya Nagar Extension, because Malviya Nagar had come up in 1970. So they thought it's next to Malviya Nagar, so they named it Malviya Nagar Extension. So initial literature on the housing scheme had the name Malviya Nagar Extension. And then what happened was that they named it Saket. Saket is actually another name for Ayodhya. A lot of significance for Hindus. But there is no record of like who actually named it. So a DDA committee named it, but who proposed it is something which is not known. So the author has done a very detailed research. I found it quite interesting that a neighborhood which had predominantly Muslim villagers, their lands were acquired, and the new neighborhood got the name which is very strong Hindu mythological name. But that's how majoritarian operates. Majoritarianism operates. Sorry. So, but that's how it is. So there are a lot of other stories about Connaught Place and Chandni Chowk. I can go on and on, but you should read the book. It's very detailed, very interesting, uh, very well researched. I am very impressed. So once you read the book, it will make you want to go out and explore Delhi. So thank you very much for watching this review. The book is this. I read it on Kindle, but you can buy a physical copy also because it's recently published. So thank you very much for watching my channel. I'll see you again soon. Thank you.